Hey everybody, I have great news. We are leaving Michigan. Kind of. We're leaving mainland Michigan for vacation. We are headed to Mackinac Island. So there you can see the Mackinac Bridge. That is, I believe, the fifth longest suspension bridge in the world. It's about 8 kilometers long, which is a pretty impressive feat of engineering. So, yeah, say goodbye to the mainland. We're going on vacation. We're going to the islands, and this video will give you a sense of how Mackinac Island is a little special and different. Alright, now we're starting to come up on the island. You can see this lighthouse right in front of us. Those lighthouses are functional. Those are actually very important as the Straits of Mackinac are still heavily used for shipping cargo around the Great Lakes area. A lot of transport ships come through here, so those lighthouses in inclement weather or at nighttime are really important for the safety of those ships. You could also see on the left here, another boat with people coming to the island. That is the only way to and from the island. I guess there is technically a very small airport, but we're not going to talk about that. Instead, we're going to talk about the island. You can see the houses and buildings. We'll be coming up on those next. Oh my, a surprise leap in space and time. What is happening? Alright, so we're on the island. Just come up on a hill here so you can see over the harbor, see some of the architectural style of the buildings here. Very classic America in a sense. That is the main street on the left. There is one of them. This is a very busy tourist island, but there's not that many permanent residents. Overall, it's a beautiful summer day. Let's get exploring and see what's out there. But wait, before we do that, hey, you see that horse-drawn carriage there? That is transportation on this island, so there are no cars. This is one of the things that makes Mackinac really interesting and kind of unique, is that except for a very small number of emergency vehicles, there are no motorized vehicles on the island. Everything is horses, bicycles, and good old foot power. And before people ask, yes, you can get Amazon Prime on the island. You can have your packages delivered to the harbor by ship, and then a horse-drawn flatbed will load up those packages. We actually saw the Amazon horse driving some packages around. It was great. Well, I don't know if you're hungry yet, but there's a lot of restaurants on the island. Makes sense, a lot of tourists. Favorite place we went was the Kingston Cafe. Jamaican food, highly recommend. It was delicious. We had fried plantains, we had salads, we had desserts, cocktails, just you name it, it was there. 10 out of 10. Now that we're fueled up, it's time to get to the forge. So here we are at the forge. That is me working on a knife, actually. So the smiths at this place, the business is called Forge a Memory. Anyone can go and participate, no experience required. They will work with you to help you make an item. And you can see that when you're working with a partner forging like this, rhythm is really, really important. You want to have very consistent, steady hammer blows so that the person who is working the tongs for you can make sure that the hammer hits in the right place at the right time so that you get the shape that you want. It's starting to cool off here. We're going to have to pop that back in the forge pretty soon to reheat it. But this was a great experience. I, again, would recommend this for sure. If anyone is interested in metal work at all, it's a great time. Well, let's get on to the next adventure after finishing up that knife. Our next adventure is... Wait for it. What was that? What was that? Our next adventure is the Butterfly House. This place is absolutely fantastic. Anybody going to Mackinac should definitely come check this one out. They have many different species of butterfly here. They hatch them on site. In fact, they have butterfly releasings twice a day where they'll let the new hatchlings out into this garden area. So there's a good one up close. We'll watch this one for a minute. It's just going to town on that flower. So yeah, all sorts of shapes and sizes. The environment is super comfortable, nice and warm, and you can learn a lot here as well. There are different informational signs. You can talk to the staff here. Several of them are entomologists, in fact, so you can really learn a lot about butterflies while you're here. There's one of those signs. One thing that I didn't realize is how much butterflies love fruit, especially bananas. So here's a whole crowd of them eating this plate of bananas. And if you look at the spots on these guys, the ones on the right, they look like eyes. They almost look like owls, in fact. And that is an evolutionary mechanism, a defense mechanism. The eyes do look like eyes, so some animals will be scared off, thinking, oh, I see an owl, I better get away. But also predators, especially birds that predate on butterflies, will attack eyes. Birds attack eyes. That's just one of their strategies. And those eye spots on the butterfly wings are a non-vital area. So if that gets hit, the butterfly can get away and survive. Very interesting. Oh, let's see if this one will hold still. Maybe I can get in close and we can watch it for a minute. Nope, looks like it's just having a little nap. They do just fall asleep in the middle of nowhere sometimes. It's pretty interesting. So, another nice feature of the butterfly garden is that once you buy your entry ticket, you can actually reuse it as many times as you want while you're on the island. We went 3 times on 3 different days, and I do not regret that at all. It was really, really great experience. Well, let's just wander around for a minute, see who else shows up. One thing that I had never noticed before about butterflies is the particular details of how they feed, and I got some close-up video of that, so we'll check that out in a minute. Let's see if this one settles down. Maybe we can zoom in and see what's going on. Oh, we're gonna move on. All right, well, maybe somebody else is feeling more like being videoed. One of the things that I love about butterflies as a material scientist, yes, we have to have a science moment here, is that the vast majority of the color that you see on butterflies is not caused by pigment. It's not chemical color caused by the composition of the wings. It is structural color. The color is caused by the size and shape and spacing of the protein structures in the wings. They look a lot like lattices or like ladders almost, with very regular repeating elements that have distances between them that are similar in length to the wavelengths of visible light, and that causes light to scatter at certain wavelengths more than others, giving you those really deep, vibrant, iridescent blues, greens, oranges. So something you may not have known before. All right, well, I did promise a video of a butterfly eating, so let's get the super extra mega zoom going, and we will zoom in and have a look at that lunchtime. Check this out. That proboscis is wild. Look how long that thing is relative to the size of the butterfly itself. So it feeds that down into the flowers to get nectar, sugar, energy, calories, nutrients. But it's just wild how versatile that thing is, how flexible it is, and how sturdy it is. That is really some pretty impressive stuff. So one more butterfly feeding video coming up here. All right, here's that other feeding video. Yes, the butterfly is trying to eat a brick, or is it? But I wanted to show the proboscis curling up. Look at that. How flexible it is, how compact it can become, which makes sense. It needs to be stored, I guess, when the butterfly isn't eating. You can see it tapping around, feeling. I think it's smelling. I'm not really sure. I didn't learn about everything about butterflies while I was there. Maybe if I had spent a few more hours, I could have talked to more of the people. But isn't that just wild, looking at how incredible that organ is? So just wanted to show that since I was able to get a little video of it. You can see those eye spots on this one really clearly as well. Different species seem to have evolved different patterns that look like different kinds of eyes. Maybe it has something to do with what the the predator birds look like in the areas that they come from. But yeah, there's some up close butterfly proboscis. Maybe this gets demonetized or censored or whatever for explicit content, but probably not. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, maybe just one more. I just wanted to show this photo. I wore my loudest, most floral shirt trying to get the butterflies to land on me, but I did get several. They all seemed interested in my hat and my hair rather than the fake flowers on my shirt, so I guess they can't be fooled by fake floral festive. I can't think of a word that means garment that starts with F. So we're going to move on. Hey, let's talk about history. The thing with Mackinac Island is there is a lot of history here. The island was settled by Europeans in the early 1700s. Of course, there were indigenous communities well before that for thousands of years. But there has been a lot of archaeology, a lot of excavation at this site. And there's also several living history opportunities where people will reenact or try to recreate different periods in history or different aspects of it to try to better understand what life was like on Mackinac at different times. So let's dive into that for a minute.
My thumb over the vent to touch hole the cannon here. This is going to prevent oxygen from getting into the barrel of the weapon. While Ethan takes the gunner's warmer auger down the bore of the weapon, he's going to fish out any materials that might have been left over from our most previous shot. Now, if you had found anything, it'd be historically inaccurate aluminum foil. We use aluminum foil rather than historically accurate muslin cloth, because muslin cloth has a tendency of catching on fire. The next step will be to sponge the pieces, simply using our wet sponge on the end of the ramrod. This will be sent down the barrel of the weapon to extinguish any embers that still are living inside the barrel of the weapon, and it also will create a vacuum. So now all the oxygen has been pushed out, we can load in our cannon charge. We're going to be using about 5 ounces of black powder, which is significantly smaller than what they would have been using for their own salute shots back in the 1880s, but it's still strong enough. This will still be enough to demonstrate for you the sound that this cannon makes and how it all works. So now that the round is in the bore barrel of the weapon back here, we can now roll the cannon up and into its firing position. So now the cannon's in its firing position, we can prime the piece. It's a simple 2-part step. Ethan's going to take this brass spike known as a gimlet and set it down the vent of the cannon. That's going to pierce the charge, exposing that black powder. So when we send a flame down into the barrel of the weapon, it will ignite the charge and send it out. The final step is to use our ignition device. This is the same sort of ignition device we would have used back in the 1880s. It's called a friction primer. It works like a tiny grenade. We have a tube and a pin. Where the tube and pin meet is a chemical known as fulminated mercury. When that pin gets pulled, that fulminated mercury is highly susceptible to friction. So it will spark, ignite the fine gunpowder in the tube, and shoot a jet of flame down onto the charge. Now we're just about ready to fire this cannon. I'd like to remind you all, this is a cannon, maybe a tad bit loud. So I'd suggest that you cover your ears or pull out your cameras. With that, there are only 2 commands left to give. They are ready, fire! And that's our cannon firing demonstration here at Fort Mackinac.
Well, there you go. That was our Mackinac Island vacation. We got some history, we got some food, some fun, some nature, butterflies, foraging, boats, shopping, fudge, you name it. No, I didn't take any video of fudge making, but fudge is a really big thing on the island, so if you like sweet treats, come prepared. Anyway, thanks for tagging along. Just wanted to do something different, show a little bit of slice of American culture for my friends who live abroad and for anyone else who stumbles upon this. Hope you found it a little bit interesting. So, it's not the sort of place that I would go every year because it is kind of touristy, to be honest, but it's a really great place to check out at least once for just the broad range of things that you can do in Mackinac. So overall, that's what I think I have to say. Hope you have a great time, and I will see you in the next one.